Hello, welcome back to Math Sci Lessons. We're continuing off from our last video about the slope and rise of a run, and we're looking at a full-on linear equation and what is in a linear equation and how it relates to the graph. So a linear equation is written as y equals mx plus b. Now we're going to break down each part. So the y here is corresponding to this value, these values here. The x is this horizontal values here. And then m, so m is slope. And as from the last video, you remember slope is rise over run. Now what that means is for every one x value that it increases by, the slope is telling you how much it increases on the y, the rise value. So how much it runs here and rises up here. And if you want the full explanation, you can check out our video on that. That's a simple explanation for now. The x value is again these values here, and then now we have b here. Now what does b mean? B is the y-intercept. Now what does that mean? So it basically means at what value does this graph intercept the y-axis here? Basically, in other words, when x equals 0, you see what is the y value, and that's the y-intercept. So here, you can see for this graph, the y-intercept is 2. So that means that x equals to 0, the y-intercept is 2. And you can see in this equation right here, this is what this graph corresponds to. So you can take a look and you can label each thing here. So m, the slope here is 2. Okay, now the y-intercept here is 2 as well. So at x equals 0, y equals to 2. And one more thing you can look at this graph is the x-intercept. So what does that mean? So the y-intercept is when x is 0. The x-intercept is when y is 0. And as you can see here, y is 0, x-intercept is negative -1. And -1 basically, -1 times 2 is -2, plus 2 equals 0. Now we can try just another, this is one of those things like you could practice by just doing different equations and labeling it. So he'll do a couple examples here. Y equals to 2x plus 5. Okay, what's the y-intercept? 5. What's the m? 2. Okay, we tried another one. Y equals to 7x plus 23. So you can just pick any numbers. So again, the b is 23, the m is 7. And as you can see here, it can correspond to, any number of values. It could be 10x, 20x. It could be, the b could be 25, 50, 100. It doesn't matter. The pattern will remain the same no matter what. And as you can see here, a straight line graph like we mentioned last time. So you can also look at the information on a graph, and you can use that to determine what is the m and b. Let's say you didn't have any other information, you just had this graph of line. You can determine what is m and you can determine what is b. So let's say you're working backwards here. How would I find the equation from this graph? So first, you want to look for b. So b is at x equals 0, so 2. So 2 is b. Okay, now we want to figure out the mx value. Remember from last time, m equals slope, which is rise over run. And for rise over run, you just do any two x values, any two corresponding x and y values. You could use it to find rise over run. This is something you can practice, as we showed in a different video how to do it. So just take this time to practice, but your answer should be 2x. So y equals to 2x plus 2. And what's useful about this equation is that when you're modeling something, you can use this to predict future values. So the most common example is speed. Speed and distance. As many times in physics classes, you could, find out the time of something and then the distance it goes. And the slope is usually speed here. And using that value, you can predict let's say you know the equation, you don't know how far you're going to be in 3 hours. So you can use this equation to plug in a value of how much time, and you want to know. So if you're going at 60 miles an hour, you could say I want to know how far I'm going to be in 2 hours, and then you know that would be 120 miles. So again, this is example of use of this linear equation, and so that's very useful. It's also the basis of algebra, and in the future you could do calculus and stuff like that. So you could just take practice here. In our next video, we're gonna take a look at how to figure out the equation, some examples, how to build the equation from the graph. We're gonna do some more example problems in the future video. Just want to keep this short. So thanks for watching. This is Math Sci Lessons. Please like and subscribe and share the video if you think anyone will enjoy it. And take care, and thanks for watching.